We're in a day and age where modern women are looking to more and more apps and even spreadsheets to figure out who they should date. And listen, I see some men doing the same things too, going to the apps, trying to scroll through the apps, and is this person the right height, the right weight, the right profession? Do they have the right teeth? Is their complexion together? Do they like the hike? Do they like sports? Do they all of these different things? And it can be so exhausting. I was reading this article from the Wall Street Journal. You guys can see it. I think is out today, and it's about how singles are going to spreadsheets. Singles are going to spreadsheets to figure out how to date. And I just want to walk you through today why these things can be exhausting. The article talked about how there's this woman who went on a date, and I believe you got to read it for yourself. But I believe what I got from it, was a date that was amazing, and then she immediately took all the details of the date, put them into a spreadsheet, and then put them into this app, and then the app was able to spit back what she thought was a good date ended up being a bad date based on the criteria in the app. And we can't base, especially if you're a believer. I'm a believer in Christ. So, especially if you're a believer, you can't solely rely on data. You can't solely rely on spreadsheets and have that be more important than discernment. A spreadsheet can tell you, I want somebody who is in financial services, human resources, or business. You go, you date somebody, and you find out that they're, just say they're a junior accountant or they're a financial analyst. Check. I want this person. Everybody wants tall, dark, and handsome, right? Even if they don't really want tall, dark, and handsome, everyone say they want tall, dark, and handsome. All right. He has to be 6 feet or close to it. You go on a date, the guy is 5'11". So you go, all right, check. Throw that into your spreadsheet. I want to be making somewhere between 70 to 100 grand because I want a six-figure, you know what, right? That's the old song goes. This guy is making 85, 90, all right, with the bonus. Check. I want them to enjoy the outdoors. They tell you that they have gone hiking on Sleeping Giant, which is a hiking trail in Hampton. All right. You go, all right, they've gone at least once or twice. They don't mind being outdoors. Check. And you go, wow, this might be the perfect person for me. Completely ignoring any and all discernment. Again, what is this person's character? What is his character? Again, does he line up with you morally? Does he believe in Christ? And even more so beyond that, does he follow Christ-like principles? All right. Does he want to love you as Christ loves the church? Or does he just see you as a potential trophy wife, right? You're dating for marriage, so a potential trophy wife sees you as being somebody, oh, I think you look good, you got a good job, maybe we can make some babies and have a family. Is this person self-seeking, self-serving, selfish, intoxicated by their own work and by their own brain? People can be intoxicated with themselves. Oh, I'm such this and I'm that, and I'm about to be the senior analyst, or I'm about to be the program manager, or I'm about to be the senior director, and be so intoxicated with themselves and their own ego that there isn't any room for you. Let's not replace common sense. Let's not replace discernment. Let's not replace things that God has given us to evaluate the people around us and to evaluate situations around us. Let's not replace those things with a spreadsheet, y'all, with an app, y'all. Now, listen, I may come out with an app one day, And so if I go and do that, understand that this video is probably gonna be here for the test of time. I'm not against apps. All right. I met my wife on a dating app. But guess what? We didn't sit with long spreadsheets. We met, we clicked, we got off the app, and we started to actually meet and do things in person. You can't rely just on data. A person may look good in the data. The app may say this is a 95% match for you, the highest match we've seen you date yet. You should absolutely go forward with this person. And that person may have stink breath. Their breath may stink. The app can't account for that. This person may look good in pictures and have everything be intellectually stimulating, love the Lord, all kind of stuff. And then you go and meet them and they don't disclose that they have one leg. Now, I'm not against anybody having one leg, but I would assume that a majority of people are dating and thinking that a person has two legs. And so if there's some kind of deformity or something that you don't like or something that can be considered not attractive conventionally, because I believe everybody is beautiful, right? Everybody who God created, all of us, everybody is beautiful, and you'll be beautiful to somebody. But that somebody may not be your somebody. And they didn't disclose it, and you looking at just data. You may meet somebody, and they may believe in passing gas in public in front of people and don't care how it smells, nothing like that. And you may be offended by that. Some people don't really care because they say, oh, it's natural. You may be offended by that. Somebody passing gas around, somebody farting around you. You may be like, that's disgusting. Like, go in the bathroom, go here, go there. Figure it out, but I don't need no farts around me. At least not directly. Something slips out, but you just letting them rip. And we sit right in Chipotle trying to have a burrito, so you know it's going to be worse. The data doesn't account for that. The data doesn't account for, is this person manipulating you? You got to actually use your own judgment and ask God for guidance and direction. And we can't allow an app to replace God. Now, I think God has given us technology. I think God has, let me fix my camera real quick. I think God has given us technology. I think God has given us great tools to enhance certain pieces of our life and be able to do things a little bit faster, like routine things that would take us forever. We could do them a little bit faster with the new AI features and things that we can do, and it's great. And you should use them. Right? If you go on 4 dates and you like them all, and you want to use the app to just help you see a snapshot to compare and contrast while you're praying on what direction you need to move in with one of these people, while you're praying, should I even be dating? While you're praying, is this who you have for me? And here's another thing. That could tell you the person is horrible, and that may be the man for you. That could tell you this person is horrible, and that may be the woman for you. Understand that I didn't have the height that my wife wanted. Understand that I didn't have the teeth that my wife wanted. You know, I didn't ask her this until maybe a year or two ago, maybe. I asked her, once you saw my gap, did you have second thoughts? And I never, mind you, we had probably already been married 8 years or more by that point. And I never thought to ask her that because, listen, I've had a gap my whole entire life. Whole life. And maybe in 3rd grade, maybe people made fun of me, maybe. But you learn to come back and you got jokes for people, and it never was a hindrance for me. I barely thought about it. I thought this was probably going to be a bigger hindrance to me than these. Honestly. Honestly, it didn't cross my mind. And one day I just asked her because people get so caught up with some of these things. And so I asked her. She goes, you know what? For a little bit, I did hesitate, and I was wondering if I could be with somebody with a gap, and then she goes, but I figured I would give you a chance, and I'm glad that I did because the best decision that I made. And so there it goes right there. Didn't have the height she wanted. Um, she didn't want anyone who was musically inclined. I'm not musically inclined, but I used to really love music. And I was trying to learn the keyboard. Still can't play the keyboard. I think I could do Remember How to Little Lamb a little bit, maybe. Was trying to learn how to play the keyboard. I got a free keyboard from somewhere. Had like a drum machine. Like, I was trying to figure out, and I probably made, I don't know, maybe close to 20 to 30 beats or whatever in my lifetime. And I was on a roll during when she met me, just trying to see if I could do something with music. Never was anywhere good enough to do it, but it's just one of those things I got interested in, and I just started to try to teach myself how to do. I thought it'd be cool. If anything, I thought maybe I could just at least play some keys and play something every now and again. I thought I'd just be with something cool. She didn't want to be with a musician. All right, so that was already against me. Right, so height was against me. Musically inclined, at least surface level, was against me. My teeth were against me. All right, even though my teeth are white, okay, I brush, I floss, I get them cleaned, but I got this gap. And some people have an issue with that because this is not a conventional look. All right, nothing about my life has been conventional, so I don't care. All right, I don't care. Never stop me. It is what it is. I see it more as if you're offended by this, then it's more of a reflection of you than it is of me. But to understand society and societal constructs, society don't like this. Like, oh no, what's going on? What are you doing? Go and get some braces. And I remember as a kid, when I tried to get some braces, or I asked for braces, I remember the dentist told me, and this is no lie. So I don't know if this was a bias or what. The dentist told me, hey, you don't need braces. Why don't you take your teeth and just try to push them together every night? That's literally what a dentist told me. I was in the doctor's office as a kid. This is what the dentist told me. So I don't know if he already had a private conversation with my mother, and she said we can't afford it, but he felt bad, so he's like gave me some hope, or what it was. I don't know what it was, but that's literally what a dentist told me, and so I believed that for a long time. And I just go like, and maybe it would happen, and then I stopped, and then I was like, I don't really care. And then as an adult, right? Listen, I could afford braces 9, 12 times over now, but one. Right now, the cost doesn't really. There's other things I could put that amount of money into, other than a Invisalign or something like that. And I have to wear a retainer for life. Listen, if y'all blow these videos up, and I end up getting millions and millions of views, and I'm bored and need something to do, maybe I'll get Invisalign. Maybe. I'll probably be super old. It'll be no point of doing it by that point. But I might do it because I'm bored, right? Some people just do things, start improving little things about themselves because they never had the opportunity to or didn't want to, and now they want to when they get older. So maybe I'll feel that way when I get much older. I doubt it. Maybe the retainer won't be a big deal. But for me right now, I don't want to put anything in my mouth and go to sleep. That is not, people say you can't really feel it or whatever. Listen, I feel everything. No, thank you. No, thank you. The way my mouth be dry all the time, no thanks. I get up in the middle of the night just to go have a sip of water and go back and lay down. No, a retainer, I feel like there's going to be too much going on in there. So anyway, teeth, if she were making a spreadsheet and trying to throw it into an app during that period of time, which we didn't do that back then, but we had like apps like Plenty of Fish and things like that. But height against me, gap against me, the musically inclined piece against me. She didn't want like a gym bro. At that point in my life, I was very athletic, and I was working out twice a day, probably 4 to 5 times a week. Like literally, I would do a quick session in the morning and a longer session at night. I would work out before work, and drive home and work out at my home gym close to my house, and do a longer work. That's literally what I was on. protein powder, creatine, trying to look at trying to be the best version of myself that I could possibly be, you know, in here and in here at that point in time. She didn't want that. Okay, she didn't want no cocky guy. At that time, I drove a Audi A4, I think, a silver Audi A4, black leather interior seats, um, which may not be a big deal to you, but from where I grew up, that's a big deal. You drove one of those bad boys, you were the man, and nobody could tell you any different. And listen, I was upside down on that car loan. Oh man, that was horrible. I'm happy that I eventually got out of it and got smarter with my car payments and things like that. But I was upside down on it because of the previous car. Like I used to drive a 2-seater, and that's a story for another day. But so it probably, at least the way I carry myself, you know, because I do carry myself with some confidence. I'm not overly confident. I'm a very humble guy, but you know, I do like a couple of nice things here and there, and especially when I was younger, I carried myself a little bit more, with just a little bit more swag, just a little bit at that time. Right now, you see how I look, you know, but a little bit more swag. When I go out now, I still do have a little bit of swag. So those things are kind of working against me. But guess what? She realized that I was kind. It was raining. I got an umbrella, and I held the umbrella over her head. I kind of also put my arm around her too, as a way to, you know, kind of get a little bit close. So, you know, it was a little sneaky smooth up in there, but I was being kind. I held an umbrella over her. She didn't have an umbrella. I'm overly prepared with things like that, so I had an umbrella in the trunk. I went and got an umbrella, and I think we walked to the car and drove to a Starbucks and had some coffee after our first date, which was at a movie theater, which I don't recommend anybody to do that, but it worked out for us. I don't recommend that be your first date, but the first date should actually have been the coffee, but we ended up doing both. So it worked out. We found out about each other's interests. I found out about how she believed in paying half, and I didn't say. I said, no, you're not paying for anything. I pay for the whole thing. So I don't believe in that. I believe a man should. In this day and age, it's tough because of how high prices are. But traditionally, I'm still more of a traditional thinker. I think the man should take care of as much as he possibly can. You know, and that may be tough for certain men. And so, if you and your woman, the person you're dating, your wife, you guys figure out a nice rhythm, where you may pay for some things, maybe she pays for some things, and maybe sometimes you split. However you work, if you both sides can agree upon it, then you agree upon it. In my relationship, you know, I try to pay for what I can, and you know, my wife will pay for some things too. But anyway, so we found out about our value systems from the jump. We sat down, had some lattes. We found out that she never knew what a latte was at that point in time, so how long ago this was. And so I introduced her to lattes, and so we had a new experience together. And then we really got to know each other. We found out that we had some common morals, and both being believers in Christ and things like that. And she had a much deeper relationship. I was yearning for a deeper relationship and learning what I could about the Bible on my own. But so she was able to kind of show me some places to look in the Bible. So we had some common ground, and we realized that we had way more in common under the surface than what a spreadsheet, a checklist, or anything would have predicted. And if we were on one of those data sets where it's like a compatibility score, I don't know what our compatibility score would have been. Maybe it would have been like 65 to 75%, something like that. Maybe, right? Which in this today's day and age, or according to the article from the Wall Street Journal, that probably would be considered horrible, right? You probably want 85 and up. So again, you can't just. This video is way too long at this point, but I want to make sure that I dive deep into this. If it was just up to AI, if it was just up to apps, if it was just up to a spreadsheet, if it was just up to a checklist, my wife and I would never got together. Never would have got together. You know, and here we are, 3 kids later. Loving marriage. Listen, I don't want to do anything without my wife. There's things that I have to do without my wife, but there's a lot of things I just don't want to do. Because she's my best friend, and I'm her best friend. You know, so, and that was more so led by the Holy Spirit than anything else, right? We prayed for the right person. We prayed for God to open up our eyes and be open to what you have for us, and what God may have for you may be in an unlikely package. Similar to how, listen, there's things that my wife prayed for that I didn't become until after we got married. Or maybe it was right before we got married, beginning of marriage, somewhere in there. Right? There's things that I walked into that I couldn't have walked into. That's a whole other video. That I couldn't have walked into without meeting her. Right? So you want a finalized package, you want a finalized person. Nobody is going to be perfect. Nobody's going to be finalized. We're all in flux. We're all learning and developing. We're all growing. Right? So you can't just say, I want all these different things and think that you're going to get this perfect person, because guess what? You're not a perfect person. So that's just something for y'all to think about. Let me know how y'all feel about spreadsheet dating. Let me know how you feel about if doing the spreadsheet dating and things like that is exhausting. I think we're wearing ourselves out and not relying on common sense, and not relying on the wisdom of the Lord, not relying on just seeing how things unveil as you date, and giving somebody a few dates and then just be like, in a few days you'll know, give or take, if you want to keep dating this person. And then once you get the feeling like, yeah, this might be the right person, outside of metrics, right? I see metrics as a way to weed out what you absolutely don't want at all, as opposed to determining who you should choose, right? You don't want a liar. You don't want Captain Hook, right? At least most people wouldn't want Captain Hook. You don't want a cheater, right? And some of those things are kind of hard to weed out anyway with the spreadsheet and technology, but maybe you can weed out certain things about how they answer questions. Weed out casual daters if you're looking for marriage, things like that. Weed out people who are not a believer at all, right? I think it's good for that. It's not good for making a final determination. All right, I talked long enough. Now let me know what y'all think.